Test. Okay. Hello there. Good morning. I'm sorry. I'm doing this talk in English because my Spanish is it's not that good. So today I'm here to give a little introduction to virtual reality with Unreal Engine, which is something that I'm very passionate about, and I think that it's something that, with a little bit of maybe getting to know the program, because it looks a little bit intimidating in the beginning, you can do amazing things.
Can you take out the linear? It's making a lot of noise.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh. Is it better now? Yeah, okay, perfect. So, my name is Daniela, and I'm the technical director and co-owner of a virtual reality-focused studio. You can find us at Mimicry Games on Twitter, or I'm also pretty active on Twitter, Daniela FIFO. And yeah, we focus mainly on virtual reality, and the name Mimicry in English has to do with role play, so trying to put yourself into other people's shoes, into anyone or anything's perspective, and explore it and maybe enrich yourself a little bit by doing it. At the moment, we are a team of 5. Besides me, there's Thomas Papa, our co-founder, José Vieira, software engineer, and Artur Gomes, also a software engineer, and Pedro Oliveira, our designated 2D and 3D artist. And it's, yeah, and we try to do our best together to create experiences that allow you to try out different things. We have been doing some projects over the years. We started working with virtual reality as a company in 2013, and nowadays our kind of main project, and the project that takes most of our time, is a competitive sushi eating game with cats on a spaceship restaurant. So you have to eat all the sushi and be the best cat sushi eater of the galaxy. And well, we expect to release our game in early access pretty soon. So if you're curious, you can check it out and maybe wishlist it if you like it. So today I'm here to talk a little bit of how to get into VR, and sometimes it's useful to have an idea of, if I wanted to get into something, what do I need? What can I do? And well, for virtual reality, it's a very multidisciplinary area, and actually it's very difficult for the same person to have all the skills needed to make a good virtual reality experience or game by themselves. And some of these skills are 3D modeling, and understanding that 3D art pipeline, 3D animation, 2D art, UI design, programming, game design, user experience design, sound design. Sound is super important for virtual reality, music composition, physics, mathematics. So there's something for everyone, I'm pretty sure, in virtual reality. And it might not look like it, but virtual reality has very strong overlaps with game development, because it's about real-time rendering. So today we're going to understand what is a game engine and the basics of working with Unreal, some common terms that if you would go online to start and search for information, what do these terms mean inside this proprietary program, an introduction to blueprints, which is a scripting language, And our small VR project for today, which will be a VR wishing well. So, if you're interested in getting started with Unreal for virtual reality, a very important thing is to have the hardware to do that at your disposal. Here is just kind of a recommended setup. I'm pretty sure then afterwards you can get the slides if you're interested. So besides a VR headset, you will need a VR-ready PC or laptop and a mouse preferably to work with Unreal. There's a lot of great talks and great material about user experience for virtual reality. So this talk won't be about it. This talk will be more focused on getting our hands dirty, per se. But if I can recommend a very good one, is this user experience and design for VR from the Google VR team. Also, other resources that are very interesting are the Reddit. Reddit is where the community hangs. And if you want to talk to the community and approach the community, that's a very good place to start. Even though it might look a little bit intimidating, but, well, like no one cares who you are in the internet. You can be a cat or a dog, like behind the computer and typing. Like, no one cares. And as long as like what you have to say and what you want to know. There's also a very nice podcast by Kent Pai called Voices of VR. And if you're interested in VR, more from maybe an academic level and trying to understand the potential of the medium, it's a very good place to try out. Once again, the Daydream Labs from Google VR are very good resources in getting to know the most used things, for example, how to move around in space, what are the approaches that are being used more often. So, what is a game engine and why do we use them to make VR experiences and games? It's a program that its objective is to get input from you, from the user, and with some logic and some assets to, like every cycle, calculate what's going to show you, what's going to appear in the screen, what's going to appear in the VR headset, for example, what's going to appear in your controllers when, for example, they vibrate. And you get that perception, that experience of continuousness and by experiencing it. And you interact with it, so it's happening every frame. This process is happening. And all game engines do this. This is their core thing, and they facilitate like they give you like an editor or something where you can join your logic, your code with your assets, be it music, models, etc., and do these calculations. So, Unreal is a game engine created by Epic Games, which is a company from the US, based in North Carolina. And Unreal Engine 4 came out in 2012, and initially it was paid, then they tested with some business models, like a monthly subscription, and in 2015 they decided to set it free, allow everyone who wants to get started and start learning and making content for free. So how does this company make money? By the way, this is like first glance what Unreal looks like. Well, if you reach a certain level of revenue per month, I think it's around $3,000 per month, you will pay 5% royalty-free fee. So in general, it's free to use until you start making quite some money with it. And it can be used for mobile web. It's platform agnostic, and it can be used for making games, but also, and more often, for a lot of applications that need these real-time rendering component, such as architectural visualizations, product showcases, training, educational software. It's really suited for these things as well. So let's get started. And today we're going to make a small functionality in Unreal. We're going to make a wishing well, where we can throw things in the well, and we make a wish and hope it comes true. First wish is seeing like, oh, hope this works. We're going to start by getting in the engine and navigating like the viewports, knowing where to find things, place and edit actors in the levels, and kind of build and run and see what we are doing. So. Okay, so when we install Unreal Engine, you get this Epic Games Launcher, where you can manage various versions of your engine. And in order to start the project, you just click Launch. And it always takes a little bit, depending on how fast your computer is, to get started. We are going to start a new project, and it will be a blueprints-based project. And Unreal gives you already a lot of templates with basic functionality that can be used, and you can already save some time and also look and understand how things work. So we're going to start with the virtual reality template for desktop console, maximum quality, and with starter content. So. Let's create the project, and this always takes a little bit of time to load. I ask you to bear with me. So this project, like these bare bones, has already some functionality, and namely, it has already some teleporting functionality and picking up things. You can pick up things and manipulate them. So this is what Unreal looks like. You have a window here where you can see your level. Your level is like the scene that is going to be played, and it's where you work, where you put your assets and your logic to then run. So you have your level here. This is called the viewport, and And in the viewport, right now we have a perspective where we can see like in 3D, and using your mouse, you can navigate and look around. For example, with the right mouse button, you can look around. If you press both of them, you can go up and down. This is a bit difficult to do with the trackpad. Sorry, I don't have enough USB ports at the moment. And with the left mouse button, you can go forth and backwards. Right now we are seeing a perspective level, but we can also see orthographic perspectives. So seeing this level from the top and seeing it in wireframe. We can also see it lit. Left, front. You get the idea. In the level, we have some things there. We have some text, and we have some kind of lights, and we can see everything that is currently in the level in the world outlier, which is here, and it has a structure that is kind of a tree-based structure, hierarchical. So we have everything that we have in the level, and here at the bottom we have the content browser, and if we open up like this button, we get kind of like a file structure, and if we open the folder in Windows where the project is stored, we'll see that this folder structure is mimicked there. So this is where you can drag and drop your content and create your content. So here we have kind of 4 main levels: the starter content that we checked in the beginning that we wanted, and if we open up, we can see that we have already some kind of architecture assets, so things that we can place in the level to build the level, like walls, windows, some audio, some blueprints, which are pieces of codes and assets together, particles, textures, materials, and we also have these virtual reality and virtual reality BP that are given by the template that already have that piece of functionality, the teleporting and the picking up that I mentioned earlier. So in the virtual reality BP, we have 2 folders, blueprints and maps. If we go to maps and if we go to motion controller map, we have a new level where we have a kind of a camera here. That is if we click on it and we see in the world outliner, it says VR pawn. This is where we are going to appear in the level. And we can try it out now and see what we get from the start. Okay. This will be a little bit laggy. But, well, you can see that from scratch, we can already jump in VR and look around, and thank you. Yeah, it wasn't focused. And teleport. And we can also pick up cubes and throw them and destroy everything. So this is already a really nice place to start from. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so like passing here. So in Unreal, we have these kind of common terms. As we have already started seeing like the project, what we started by creating in the beginning, and that content browser that has that content structure that is mimicked in Windows, actors that can be placed in the map or the level, and these actors support 3D transformations, and these are translation, so moving them in space, rotation, so rotating them, and scale, making them bigger or smaller. And you can also have classes, behavior, logic. We have the level where we have already opened a new one, and we can have kind of special level logic. That's also something that is done. We have our camera, our pawn, our character that we can already use from the template, and other two terms that we are not going to deal with today, but are very useful, are the player controller and the AI controller. So Unreal creates a structure where you can have your characters, and then it's either controlled by you, by the player, or by an AI, and Unreal doesn't care who is controlling the creature. And we can also get game modes where we define rules of the game, especially if we have a game, and what are the winning conditions. And well, now let's talk about logic. There are two ways of programming and of adding logic in Unreal. One is using C++, and this is used to do engine programming and gameplay programming, also known as scripting, and blueprints, which is a very powerful visual scripting tool. And well, so let's use blueprints to create our wishing well. I got a wishing well model from Google Poly, which is a library that was created from Google. And if we go here to our blueprints folder, let's get our wishing well that we downloaded previously into our engine. So here we are, import all. Okay, has some warnings, and we have these materials for the well, and we also have the model, also known as a static mesh. And we want to add some logic, some code to our wishing well. So we're going to create a blueprint class, which is going to be an actor, and going to be called wishing well. And if we open up the wishing well blueprint, we get this window where we have components where we have the wishing well and some details, some properties of this actor. And a default scene root, which is a point in space where we're going to put our well and other components, our particles, lights, etc. We have here a viewport, and right now we have that point. We only have that point. So let's add our model to this actor. So it's a static mesh, and if we go here to the details, we have here the static mesh, and right now there's none selected, and you can open and kind of browse and search SM-well2. Right now this model is very small, so we're going to go to the scale and lock it to scale in all axes and make it 80. And at the moment the model is rotated, so we also have to rotate it. Let's rotate on the x-axis, the red one, 90 degrees, and we have our well here. Okay, and we don't want we want to throw our cubes that we already saw that we can pick up in the well, and when that happens, let's create some drama and add some particles. So for that, let's make this well. It has some collisions from the model, and we open up. And let's say that the well doesn't collide, just to make our lives easier. And let's add a collision shape to the bottom of the well to make sure that, well, when the cube reaches the inside of the well, we can trigger our particles. So, search for collision, and let's pick a sphere. We have like a sphere collision here, and let's look at the bottom, and we can see that it seems to be too small. We want this sphere to cover the bottom of the well. So let's go to the scale and increase it. And like I'm writing a lot of magic numbers, but game development and VR development is a lot about getting these magic numbers and getting the perfect number for the effect. Let's switch to perspective again, and we have our sphere there, kind of at the bottom of the well. This sphere says overlap, all dynamic, and that means that every time the cube will enter that sphere, an event will happen. And video games programming is event-driven, and events are usually represented in blueprints by these red things, and they have the notion of fire and forget, which is to, they don't return anything. Every time a cube will enter that sphere, we have already some events here that we can add logic to with these pins that says execution pin. Every time the cube will enter or any actor will enter, this event will be fired. So we want to react every time a cube enters that sphere. So let's filter by using a cast function our cubes. It's a pickup cube. And every time we enter, we get the cube, well, we're going to destroy it. This is the reference to that cube. and we are going to try to prevent a lot of cubes accumulating inside the well. And we also want to add our particles. So let's go to our viewport and get a particle system going on. And we added it, we go to details, and we have some particles here. And our start content already gives us some particles to start coding with. Let's add some sparks, and let's place it kind of nicely. Okay, it seems to be kind of dramatic enough. Right now, this is always running, so we want to tick the activation of the particle, and compile, save. And let's go back to our event graph, where we deal with this, with events, with things happening. And let's drag a reference for this particle system. And every time a cube enters, we want to get this particle playing for maybe 2 seconds. So, particle system, let's activate it. Reset so that it always starts from the beginning. And let's wait with a delay with 2 seconds. And then deactivate our particle system. As you can see with blueprints, you can always kind of right-click and search for the function that you might need, and which is great if you're new and you're learning. So with this done, let's try it out and see if we get if it's working. Let's get into view. Oh, right now we don't have anything in the level, so we have to actually save these all, and we have to add this piece of logic that we created to the level. So we can drag and drop, and here we have it. We can use these tools to position, to rotate. The scale right now is good. So let's give this a try. Okay, here we are. Well, we have our well in the level, and let's pick up a cube and go there, and let's see. Whoa, yeah, we. Yeah, let's make a wish, and whoa, yeah, close enough. Okay, so this is it for today. As you've seen, like there's a lot that can be done, and this was just a very small demonstration. But it's actually easier to get started and go on and learning and to make these interactive things. So if you want to continue and to go home and start doing it, start working with Unreal, there's a ton of documentation in the official channels from Epic Games. And well, that's it for today. Thank you.